Hello there, Comic Clan, and welcome to Comics in the Cross, the greatest streamers that you have never heard of.
I'm a geek. I use thought bubbles when I speak. I'm a freak because Jesus, he died for me. I'm unique. There is only one of me. I'm complete, so I really don't care what you think of me. I'm a geek. I use thought bubbles when I speak. I'm a freak because Jesus, he died for me. I'm unique. There is only one of me. I'm complete, so I really don't care what you think of me.
Funny, I was just sitting in a coffee shop one day, just being like, you know what, I haven't seen Goth Cowboys.
Yeah, so the Infinity Bros are saying that they like your Spidey themed stuff going on.
Dude, I gotta show you. Hold on.
Oh no, here we go.
You know, my thing is when the Lord gave me dominion, something huge. Because God doesn't do anything halfway.
I appreciate the fact that the comic book movies like DC and MCU, they take the source material seriously,
yeah,
but they're not afraid to like show loyalty to the source material.
Sinestro is good, but there's no way in the world that Doom's going to lose to him.
I'm a geek. I use thought bubbles when I speak. I'm a freak because Jesus, he died for me. I'm unique. There is only one of me. I'm complete, so I really don't care what you think of me. I'm a geek. I use thought bubbles when I speak. I'm a freak because Jesus, he died for me. I'm unique. There is only one of me. I'm complete, so I really don't care what you think of me.
I was like, you know what? Not only are they not hiring black people to work on these films and cartoons, I don't see enough diversity. I don't see enough inclusion. I don't see people in wheelchairs or walkers. I don't see sickle cell characters.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That's my favorite one. I got this for Christmas. It's Spider-Man Hulk.
Although I'm being shown up here, to be completely honest, because Lewis came in the show
Let's
like
give
this.
him a taste. Let's give
Yeah,
him a
show
taste
them
real
this. Show them this, man.
Like, we went all out. We even got the knee socks. Got it all. Give him a twirl.
Yeah, man.
Character that is my number one, like no doubt about it. So this was one of the comics that was in, not this specific one, but this character in that box that I was referring to, that opened the gateway for me for comics for life. It's this guy right here. I know it's backwards, but it's Spawn.
So I hope you come here. I hope you feel loved. I hope you feel part of this family. This is the Comic Clan. If you want to be part of it, we are here with open arms for you.
What is up, Comic Clan? Welcome to Comics in the Cross, the greatest streamers you have never heard of. I, of course, am one of those, Nitro. Thank you for stopping by today. Comic is on a much needed, Cross is on a much needed break because if you don't know, he's about to have a kid. Crazy. So he's on a much needed break. So I'm going to try to run the show today, and I'm going to see what happens. Hoping we don't have any technical issues. So today I thought we would try our hand at the first art stream. So, but before we get started, let us actually get into a couple of announcements. What's up, Super? Thank you for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. All right. So first things first. Wait a minute. I'm trying to think. So it would be this way, I assume? Yeah, so it would be this way. Up at the top of the screen, you'll see Gamer Grind Co. They are the official sponsor of Comics in the Cross stream. So we have a link that you can use for 5% off when you check out. Let me pop this in the chat real quick. So when you go there and you grab some coffee, make sure you use the Comics in the Cross at checkout, and you'll save yourself 5%. And while you're at it, you know you want to just go ahead and grab a mug and a sticker. I mean, let's be honest. All right. Also, we have Comics and the Cross merch. Can you believe that? We have our own merch. We have our own Teespring store. We have a ton of stuff. We have t-shirts, hoodies, onesies, and of course, my favorite, leggings. So, surprise that your favorite lady in your life would grab her some leggings. Grab a pair of leggings for yourself. Why not? I wear them every day. I'm just joking. I don't do that. Also, if you'll notice at the bottom of the screen, we have our Road to 15 stubs and our Stan Lee emote. So I think single-handedly, most of these subs come gifted care of Chunk the Hut. So big shout out to Chunk the Hut. That being said, we are 5 away. 5 away from 15 subs. So if you would like to support our stream and sub to us, you can do it for a month, and you can do it all the way up to a year. I will say, if you do sub for a year, you get a sweet Batman emote. Sweet Batman sub badge, rather. So just throwing it out there. It's sweet. And then last but not least, if you would like to support us in other ways, we do have a Patreon. The link is in our About Us page. Feel free to do that. I know we always say, regardless of whether you support us monetarily or just viewership, we are still going to be here Sunday in and Sunday out. So it's just what we do. We love to do this stuff. We're both huge geeks. So it is what it is. So, all right. Let's get in a little bit of news before I jump into art. Is the setup all right? Can I get some feedback on the setup, everybody? Is this all right? If the audio, the visual, if anything is off, just let me know. This is a new setup for me, so I want to make sure that everything can be seen. Oh, I don't know. Y'all have never seen my desk before. So I actually handmade this desk. Well, this is a door. It's not really. I made a desk out of a door, but this is a bunch of comics clippings from what I had, and then I covered it in epoxy. So I get to work on this thing every day. It's pretty sweet. This is the favorite thing I've ever made. It's awesome. Anyways, sorry. I get distracted super easy. So news. So comic book movie news. There's been a lot of filming news recently. So first off, Shang-Chi, done. They're wrapped. They're done filming. Also, Blade. They're looking for the Marshall Ali Blade that they wanted to include in the MCU. They just started, I believe, trying to find a writer and all that stuff. So that's pretty sweet. So I love the Wesley Snipes Blade movies, and I'm hoping we get a bit of that vibe in the new Blade. I don't know if it's going to be a series or a movie. I think it's going to be a movie. I don't know. We'll see. And then the last but not least, Winter Soldier has also wrapped filming in the Czech Republic. So I think Anthony Mackie posted something on Twitter. He said people were getting super up in arms about getting too close. He said if you get closer than 6 feet, some little small Czech dude would come and like check you with his hands. But anyways, The Mandalorian Season 2 trailer dropped. I have not had a chance to see it. I also have not had a chance to finish The Mandalorian Season 1. So don't hate me. It's just a time issue. It's a time budget issue. So I will definitely finish it before I want to finish it before I actually watch the trailer for Season 2, because I don't want to spoil. I'm a huge non-spoiler person. I don't want to spoil myself. So, but we'll see. And then I think the last bit of news that I have was something that sent shockwaves in my personal sphere. Apparently, Jared Leto will be back for Justice League as the Joker. How do you feel about that? I'll be transparent. Wasn't a huge fan of his in Suicide Squad. And I don't know if it was the writing necessarily as much as everything about him. I know we've talked about this before in the stream, but he doesn't come across to me as the type of person who would get a face tattoo. I don't know. Maybe he would. I don't know. But I was not a fan of the Joker, and I know there's an Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, and I think they cut a lot of stuff out of the original one. But I don't know. Even if there was additional footage, I'm not sure how you could save that. I'm not sure how you could save the travesty that was the Jared Leto Joker in Suicide Squad. But we'll see. Unlike Cross, I have faith in Zack Snyder. I feel like he can do a good job. I do feel like if they do the Justice League right, I feel like it will redeem the disaster that was the original Justice League, Whedon League. So, I don't know, man. Also, Joe Manganiello, his name is super hard to say. Joe Manganiello is back as Deathstroke. So, I want to know, you're adding all these characters in. They're filming some additional scenes with Ben Affleck and I think Ezra Miller and I think Gal Gadot as well. So I feel like it's going to be almost a completely different movie. So I'm super excited about it, man. Yeah, I think that's all I had. Now I know last week, if you guys have any news, you want to chat about anything, please. I'll be drawing and chatting and doing what I do. This is a really chill stream. Please, if you want me to draw something, you have a suggestion, just throw it in chat and we'll see what we can do with that. I think the first suggestion came. Let me see. Cross sent me. I don't know if Queen Gamington is on. I think she was in an online wrestling league, but she sent me her wrestler. So I don't know if you get a good shot of that. Her name is Rosa Eden. And I think I just showed my unlock password for my phone on live stream, which is pretty sweet. So I guess I'm going to have to change that. So I think we're going to start off with her. All right, so I feel like I need to set some ground rules, set some, what do you call it? Expectations. There we go. So I haven't drawn in a long time. I love to draw. I love art. I grew up doing art. I went to school for art. I got my degree in art. And I have been paid to do art. All right, so my brother, Cybervike, says I should draw Jared Leto as Joker. And I am going to permaban him right now. I'm just joking. Everybody, meet my brother, Cybervike TV. He unfortunately is a Vikings fan, so you're just going to have to forgive him for that. But again, I just want to set some expectations. I am not a professional artist. I love to draw. So we're gonna work with that. We're gonna work with that. All right. So we're gonna start off. Let me move this out of the way. This was just this piece of paper is ginormous, so I'm just gonna throw that out there. And if the audio is off, if the video is off, please let me know. I want to keep this as clean as possible. So, and again, while I'm drawing, feel free to chat. I will be chatting as I draw. Otherwise, you'll just hear me mindlessly droning on by myself. So that would be fantastic. Troy, did you hear about Jared Leto being back in Justice League? I don't know. I don't know, man. All right, so I don't normally draw females that much. I normally draw huge muscle-bound dudes. I think that's just a guy thing. Most guys want huge muscles. You did, yeah. That's unless they drastically change him from the Suicide Squad. I honestly don't see how it's going to be a good thing. All right, so going back to this drawing, I can only see half her body. So, Queen Gamington, if you're on, I need you're gonna have to help me out a little bit with what she's wearing. So, but I'm gonna kind of exaggerate her features a bit. How should she be standing? Like arms folded, like. I'm going to make her flexing. Oh, she's going to flex. We're going to do a flex. How about that? All right. So I always try to start off with the head, just because that's easiest for me. So, all right, let's see. Actually, let me get a different pencil. That one's a little too dark. All right, and I grew up on anime, so his features are slightly exaggerated. So when you're drawing females, the features are way softer than if you would if you were drawing a guy. I don't know if you guys have ever done these kneaded erasers, but I haven't used this in a while. It's super tough. All right. But when you're drawing females, the features are a lot softer. Really? A lot softer than if you were drawing a male. So, maybe not so exaggerated on the pointy chin, although they do have a more like down angular face as opposed to guys on the jaw angular face. And now I like to just draw some kind of guidelines from where the eyes are going to be, where the nose is going to be, maybe. Now she's going to be kind of looking down a bit. She looks particularly muscular, so I'm going to give her a little bit thicker neck than I normally would for a female, and maybe a little bit of traps. Actually, she looks like a guy. Hold on. she might end up looking very masculine. So I apologize. There we go. That's much better. All right, now I'm really digging these shoulder pads, but I'm gonna hardcore exaggerate them if that's cool. There we go. This reminds me of the Road Warriors. I just got to give her a football pads. Any WWF fans, old school WWF fans out there? She's almost looks like Krillin from Dragon Ball Z. All right. So, all right, let me before I get into the details, I'm gonna sketch out just a. I'm obviously not drawing the bottom of her body because I'm too close to the bottom of the page. So I just want to make sure I have. I said she's gonna flex, right? No. I'm just gonna do her just standing normal, okay? So that's her shoulder, her arm. I like to kind of do the joints, so you can kind of see where everything's gonna be. Exaggerated. Let me move this camera a bit. There we go. Let me see. Another shoulder. You want to bow her arms out a bit so she looks slightly intimidating with her stance. And the taper on the waist adds to the muscularity, obviously, because she's a wrestler, so she's huge. All right, and then she has kind of like a collar, I think, that comes up off. It's almost like it's part of the pad, or no. It looks like the pad comes up and then wraps around. So let me try that. There we go. That's much better. That looks much better. I don't mind seeing him with the Joker. Different vibe though, for sure. I just like when he took his shirt off and he had all those like tattoos, and he has a tattoo on his forehead, and I think the scenes with him and Harley Quinn were good, but I think all the other scenes, he was just weird. It was just really weird. Anyways. Alright, so right now, I'm not trying to, like, get every single detail down. Just trying to get the high-level details. Alright, and then she has, like, basically another collar that comes down and kind of opens up. I feel like I need to give her a weapon. Queen Gamington, I'm going to give her a weapon. If that's cool. I feel like she needs a battle axe or something. Whoa, I need to taper that in, because it looks like she doesn't have a waist. Alright, there we go. She is a beast of a woman. I'm just going to throw that out there. Alright, so I'm going to draw the shoulders. Shoulders make the stance. Shoulders make the stance, at least when I draw characters, like the way that I position their shoulders and the size of their shoulders and the width of their shoulders from their body sets the tone for your character. So now when it comes to women, you know, from my experience, what I've drawn, like, you can have like muscular women, but it's a different type of muscle than guys, obviously. It's not like, unless they're like 10% body fat. So it's going to be a little softer than, like you're not going to see the muscle indentions and the cuts and all that stuff that you normally would see in a guy, like superhero or whatever. So it's going to be a little softer than normal. So see how, I don't know if you can see this, but see how this is super sharp? I'm going to need to like soften that up just a tad. So that's the tricep, obviously. There's another muscle in here in the middle of the bicep. Come up with the elbow, and the forearm kind of wraps around. And then I don't normally draw all the fingers with a fist. The arm is really short. I'm gonna have to redraw this. Hold up. All right, so there are guidelines as far as like proportions, obviously. So I think the width for this is good. I think the width for this is good. But what I was struggling was the length of the arm. So the elbow should come right above your waist. So obviously her waist is right here. So the elbow should be like right around there. And then if you're wanting to kind of swing around, there's the hand. See, that looks much better. So you want the top of the arm to come out to kind of give her the, you know, the, I don't know if you can see that, but the kind of like I will break you in half stance. Yes, the real star, Sora. I don't know if anybody knows, but Sora is my cheerleader, and I appreciate that. And she knows what's up. Who the real MVP of the stream is, it's me. I'm just gonna throw that out there. So, oh, you can't switch it up. You can't switch it up in the next statement. Thanks for stopping by, Sora. So right now, just to give you a heads up, so Queen Gamington, who is a supporter of Comics in the Cross here, and I think she's a member of an online wrestling league that Cross was a part of. She suggested first that we start off with her character, who is Rosa Eden, who is who is her created wrestler. So that's who we're starting off with. And I'm trying not to make her too manly, because I don't draw women that much. So we shall see. All right, so again, with the muscles on the female, you want to kind of go slightly softer. I sound like a teacher. Shoot. All right, and then I said I'm going to give her a battle axe. And the hands, obviously, the hands on women are not as big as a man's hand. So, I mean, that's important, though. Like, when you're drawing female versus a male, like, knowing the difference in the types of proportions is super important. Like, for me, yeah, we'll just keep going. All right, so I'm not sure what's going on, like, below the waist here. So I'm just going to kind of make it up, I guess. I feel like I need to take... All right, and she has kind of like a... kind of opens up, and then it closes. I'm not going to go overboard with the cleavage. All right, let's see. All right, I'm going to go nuts with the spikes. I'm just straight up, I like spikes, so. That's what I'm talking about, something like that. That level of spike. All right, so let me see. Now this is where, I know I haven't drawn the other arm yet, but I'm going to start, and she has these kind of like mid bicep level gloves. I'm gonna maybe not make her traps, her lats that big, but then she doesn't have any shape. All right, so let's see what we can do about this. So that her chest is right there, so we come down, and then the hips. All right, she's gonna be Queen Gamington. Again, I feel like I said this like 48 times already, but she's gonna be a little thick. So, all right. So again, draw down here, kind of mimic the same angles and stuff as the other arm. I still feel like her head needs to be taller. All right, so all right, I think one of the issues was her neck was too thick. I really want to draw Krillin from Dragon Ball Z. Alright. I haven't drawn him in forever. Alright, that is much better. So the neck is a little thinner. Let's see what's going on with her. Alright, so this kind of goes up to another collar. And this kind of follows it a little bit, I think. Alright, and then there is kind of like a... Alright, troll to troll. That's balled up, Sora. That's messed up. Alright. Alright, pretty soon. Alright, so like when it comes to facial features, I don't get super detailed with facial features. As long as I have the shapes and the positions of the eyes, all right, I'll normally just almost do a line for a nose. And then, again, for lips on women, they're a little bit different than men's, because you can get away with just like a shaded part for men, just like a little indication of one. But the lips, obviously, for females are just a little bit fuller. So just got to keep that in mind. All right, so let's see. I'm going to work on these spikes a little bit, because that's what I want to work on. So, and the thing to make the spikes look 3D, you got to kind of have to... Yeah, so this right here is packing tape. A little ghetto, sorry, but it's what I have to work with. Can't really see that well. Let me pull it up, sorry. There we go. Tilt this so it's a little bit more dead on. All right, so for spikes, in order to make them a little three-dimensional, you have to basically change the bottom line where you see it meeting the shoulder pad, and you also have to have it go below the horizon line. So you see the actual shoulder pad up here, and how the spike is behind it. So that gives it some depth. So actually, I'm gonna change the shape of the shoulder pad a little bit to make it a little more aggressive, because Rosa Eden is a beast. I'm gonna make it just ridiculously aggressive. Beast. That's beast. All right. All right. Well, now I gotta erase the spike. All right. Cool. All right. So we're gonna go. Now I have some colored pencils. I was gonna paint, but it's just extra right now. So, but if we do get into coloring, I have some colored pencils, and we might be able to do some of that. And then when you get to like stuff down here, like when it's like going to be dead on at your face, you can kind of do like a little foreshortening thing. It's not perfect right now, but Todd McFarlane does this a lot with the Spawn character. Because obviously Spawn has a lot of spikes on his uniform. So Todd McFarlane will sometimes have them coming like straight at you. And he does a really good job of that. So and I'm not gonna go nuts with the spikes, but I feel like I already have a ton on there. And then you have kind of like these rivets on the outside edge of this. I feel like it would be dangerous to crack her neck, like just. All right. So let's continue on the arm. So one thing you'll know about me, or you'll learn about me, is I jump around when I draw. So sorry, got drawing ADD. All right, I'm gonna just and one thing. It's been really cool to have Dr. Bell and on the podcast, and because he talks about art, because I love talking about art and the specifics and stuff like that. And one cool thing he did say is if you do want to get into art, one of the main things that you need is a good anatomy book. This one's a little more academic, but it goes down to the muscle structure, because if you want to draw it like realistic, you're gonna have to know like muscle structures and how different muscle structures meet other muscle structures and how they form and stuff like that. So trying not to make sure there's no nudies in here. But yeah, so, and there is. But yeah, so having a good anatomy book is crucial if you want to get better at drawing the human body. And just, I say like practice, but I'm gonna erase this arm, it's too wide. But Dr. Bell, he was talking about how if you want to get better at the human body, you gotta practice, and I would agree. Every day, as much as you can. So sorry, I erased her arms because they were a little too wide. So I feel like her shoulders should be right here, and they should come down. I feel like I need to. I'm trying to figure out what I want to give her. I think I might give her... I'm going to give her Battle Axe. I already said that. Like Viking style. Not Minnesota Vikings. Alright, calm down there. But the Vikings. I think I made her arm a little too big. This is much better. And then the glove comes mid bicep. And I just do like an indication of a hand. I was straight up. Hands are hard to draw. So unless you actually have to draw a hand, there's a ways around it. So if I want to, I'll figure it out. Anyways, so the forearm wraps around the bicep, and the bicep goes into the middle of the forearm. So I don't know. So like if you're looking at a 3/4 view, I don't know if you can see that. So the bicep goes into the forearm, but this forearm is on the bottom side of your arm, and it kind of wraps around. So your bicep almost goes into a V into the middle of your forearm. So it comes out like that. So there's basically two large muscle groups. One on the outside of your forearm, and then one on the inside of the forearm. So that's what I'm drawing right now. So this is the one on the inside. And then your shoulder caps off and goes into the middle of the bicep a little bit. And then you have a bunch of forearm muscles that all those little muscles all across your forearm that move when you're like drawing and stuff like that, or when you're writing. You don't have to draw all those. You can, but you don't have to do that. There. That looks weird. You know what? I'm gonna move on from the arm. I'll come back to it. It's getting on my nerves. All right, so come back. Let's have like a little clasp right here. I'm feeling a clasp. I feel like I need to draw in ink. No, not yet. All right, so now for the hair. Now, I am not that great with hair, but I will try my best. So she has kind of like a swooping thing, like over the forehead, coming down. And I'm gonna make her hair the star of the show. So I want it to be big. And I want that part to sang. I want it to sang. I kind of want to give her a shaved head, but that's not what she looks like, so. All right, now I kind of want her to look down, or be looking down. So I'm gonna just give her the tiniest indication of a nose, and then the eyebrows. I might angle her, you know. Now, she has some bigger lips, not big lips, but bigger lips in this picture, so I'm gonna one cool thing that you can do is that you can just indicate lips by shadow, which I like to do a lot. So I don't know if you could see this, but I just literally shadowed her upper lip, and then I have a line for the bottom lip. So you don't have to go super detailed if you don't want to with lips. But again, it just depends on what your end goal is. If your end goal is to go hyper realistic, then yeah, you need to get in there and draw, like, do all the nitty gritty details. But it's definitely not needed. You can do kind of like a suggestion, and it'll work. So I kind of want to give her the front of her hair like a little swoop. But the way so her hair is like reddish. No, that's a little bit too much of a. All right, let me see. There we go. Now the face, there we go. So when you add the details of the face and stuff like that, you're able to pull out the feminine qualities and stuff like that. So let me put her little neck muscles in there. Oh, I feel like her waist is just too wide. So I'm gonna pull that in. I feel like her waist should be right about there. And then obviously the hips on a woman are bigger than a man's normally. So you want to give an indication of that. All right, now I think she has a midriff, so I'm gonna just make a suggestion of that. All right, now I think I'm gonna start drawing with ink. So I know my hand's in the way. All right. Actually, let me see if I got another pen. Hold on. Let me see if this will work. Sorry, I'll be back in a sec. Alright. Well, that's a Sharpie. I don't want a Sharpie. If you're watching this and you are able to, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, would you share this on your social media? That way we can get as many people in here as possible. That would be fantastic. Alright, let me try this one. Alright, that one's much better. I normally like to use microns. I don't know if you guys can see this. Micron pens. I use these for a lot of different things. It's probably my favorite pen to draw with. And they have all different sizes and stuff like that, so it's pretty cool. So I draw really loose, so it's almost like a sketchy quality. Which some people like, some people don't. It's just, it is what it is. Now when it comes to the face and stuff like that, I'm gonna probably get a little bit finer of a tip on my pen. The hair is kind of coming down. We'll have some wrap down like that. We'll have that come back behind there. Alright. So, let me see. So for the face, I'm going to get a little smaller pen. So for the face, again, you come in here, just the smallest suggestion of a nose. This is almost an anime nose. And these are basically anime eyes, so I'm just going to be straight up. And sometimes I don't get the eyes like 100% even. And she kind of looks crazy right there. So what I might do is just come in with some white paint. Because I think she has black eyes and white pupils, so we can definitely do that. Another thing that's like super important is the eyebrows, which I feel like I'm butchering right now. For those of you who are not aware, I am not Jim Lee, and I do not have the talent of Jim Lee, so I appreciate you hanging out with me and watching Amateur Hour over here. I'm just going to outline the shoulder pad. Come in here and just do some of the spikes. And again, like you can see on the bottom of this spike, you want to give it a little bit rounded of an edge because you want it to look 3D. Like that's the goal. And then you fill in some of the rivets. Give it a little bit of a 3D vibe. I'll throw in some smaller spikes here too. One thing you want to watch out for, which I almost did right here, is, I don't know if you can see this, but this is called like a tangent in drawing. Like you see how close that is to that line. You want to try to stay away from that as much as possible, because the goal for a drawing is to lead your eyes around the drawing. in a natural way. So anything that kind of like, oh, I'm getting stuck on that one part of the drawing is not normally a good thing. All right, let's do some ornamental clasps. All right, let me see. This one's more of a marker, which is cool. Now, one thing that a lot of artists say is that you want to draw with your shoulder, like you want to move your arm around with your shoulder. I've never learned that way, so it's a bit hard for me to try to transition into that. So I draw normally with my wrist. It's just a lot easier for me to control, and I actually like drawing with this thing, so I'm gonna keep drawing with this thing. So yeah, we'll have another medallion, a big one right there. We'll come down here. I'm just gonna make a suggestion of a spike right here. Another one right here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Let me fill in her mouth. All right. You see what I mean with the lips though? Like, I know the eyes are pretty jacked right now, so actually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fill those in, and then I'll try to come in with a white. I think I have a brush and some white paint. I'll come in here and finish those off. Jim Lee uses white out because he's a beast. I'm not Jim Lee. Let's see. All right. Now, like when you're drawing for like comics and stuff, like having a big outline is like, it's pretty cool. I'll actually finish that off later. Sorry, I'm all over the place. All right, let's work on the arm a bit. So how's everybody's week been so far? Super quiet in the chat. Thinking about getting, what is that game? Not Among Us. Is it Among Us? The one where you have to find the traitor or whatever, or the imposter. Thinking about getting that this week, and that's probably what I'll be playing next week. So I will also be doing a solo stream next week while Cross is out with his fam. So if you want to come by and play some games, please join me. All right, I like this arm a lot better. Now, you can do a lot of things with like fabric and stuff like that to make it a little bit more real. Like you can do some stretching in the fabric, and you know, when it comes around the elbow, you can do a little bit of like bunching up and stuff like that. But you don't want to go like, you don't want to go overboard. There we go. All right, let me see. She's got like kind of like this zigzag pattern. Can't see all of it, but I'll color that in a minute. If anybody has any suggestions for what else to draw after this, I'll be wrapping this up in a few. So. All right, let's see. She's got some cheekbones. So I don't want to go like super nuts. I do want to put some shadow down here though. I'm not going to shadow the whole thing, but I definitely wanted to put some shadow on her. All right, Alright, so let's finish drawing this. Alright, so we're gonna, again, with the spikes, doesn't have to line up perfectly with the other one, just has to look similar. That's the dangerous spike because that's right at her face. I'll put a little one over here. Alright, cool. Let's see. Put a little decorative line on there. Alright. It's looking pretty good. Kind of want a shadow in here because that's where her hair kind of is like. Alright, and then just the suggestion. Alright, and then for shoulder, dude, she's a beast. She is a beast. I am scared of her. And you come in here, the elbow. I'm not gonna give her a battle axe. I'm just gonna make her look mean. Hip a little bit, and then she has a design on her midriff, which I'll get to in just a second. Now, again, that inner muscle arm is important because it gives the arm like the illusion of 3D. There we go. Hey, what's up, Scottish Dreads? Thank you for joining, man. Welcome. Alright, so come in here. One of the coolest parts of doing stuff like this is coloring it, which I'm not gonna color the whole thing, but I might color a couple parts of it. There we go. So does anybody draw? Anybody on the Comic Clan draw? Hey, what's up, Cross? It's going good, man. We are drawing Queen Gamington's Rosa Eden right now, and she is looking mighty beastly. Scottish Dad reads. Got it. Makes sense. Makes sense. I butchered your name when it said you joined. Movie straight up. And Sora said I'm her favorite. Just FYI. All right, let's see. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start erasing some of these lines, which will reveal the pencil, which is another one of my favorite parts. All right, so I actually have a Sharpie, so that's what I'm gonna use to color a little bit. Oh crap, forgot the design on her costume. So basically it comes down like this. It's really weird, like a cool little pattern. And then it kind of tops off like that, I think. So, and then everything in here is black. I really feel like Jim Lee, even though I'm not Jim Lee. Because I watch his streams all the time, and he's forever just coloring with whatever he gets his hand on. Like, dude colored in whiteout. I mean, come on, let's be honest. I've watched Todd McFarlane do art too, and his is pretty cool. I feel like, I hope he's not listening, because I feel like I'm about to insult him, but I feel like he's getting older, so I feel like a lot of his lines are shakier than, you know, whatever. It's way better than I can do anyways. All right, let's see. So for the arms, you come in here. We're going to color the gloves black around here, around the zigzag. Color the gloves. Whoa. Let me see. Dude, if you created a YouTube channel where you read books in your Scottish accent, I would listen to that when I went to sleep. And I mean that in the non-creepiest way possible. I love your accent, especially when you say the word murder. I've told you that before. That being said, like, is it weird that you use the word murder that much? I don't know. Well, you are Scottish, so I guess it's in your blood. Just joking. That was a joke. Yes, she has beast arms. And that's what I said at the beginning. I wanted to make her, like... So we have the picture that you sent me, obviously. But I wanted to make her, like... a little more beastly. So... and if you guys like this art stream, then we want to try to make this a regular part of our stream. So we will continue to do this if you guys like this. If not, we can... Again, we're always going to try new stuff, man. You know? Getting Sharpie on my hand. We're always going to try new stuff. We're not afraid to try new stuff. We're always going to be here. We're not going anywhere. Gloves are looking beast. Alright, now she has red in her hair. And now I am going to attempt to use some colored pencils. Now these are Prismacolors. If you have not heard of these are amazing color pencils. They are about $1 a piece. So you will definitely save money if you get a bigger container like this. But they are super smooth when you're drawing with them. So definitely, if you like to draw with color pencil, it's definitely worth it. I would say so. All right, so let's see. So she has some. I'm not going to color everything. I'm just going to color her hair and maybe some of her glove. So she kind of has this red thing going on with her hair that I'm going to just. And like the harder you press, the more solid it gets, and it's really sweet. I'm gonna give her like streaks. Then you come in here and you press really hard, and you get some really good colors. And then she has the tips of her hair down here are red. And then some, we can color some of her gloves. Any suggestions? Anybody have any other suggestions for what you want me to draw? Thinking about, since Cross is on here, and I know I was talking about Krillin from Dragon Ball Z earlier. He just reminded me that he needs to watch Dragon Ball Z. I figured maybe I can draw some of that. So let me just color. I'm just going to color. Shoot. I'm already in it. Why not? Just color it just a tad. And then let's come in here and do some work on this design. Not looking bad. All right, so I'm actually gonna color some of this in. And then color, because the top of her head is colored in. Actually, I'm gonna use a Sharpie. I feel like it has a lot more coverage, and it's a lot darker. All right, so let's come in and color. This reminds me of the Queen from Alice in Wonderland, Queen of Hearts. I don't know why. I guess it's just the diamond shapes. All right, let me see if I have some white. I think I do. That's some white paint. So let me see. Sorry guys. Alright, now this is actually leather paint. Because I'm trying to paint shoes. So I don't know how it's gonna work, but we shall see. Got a little bit of a paintbrush. We'll just take a teeny bit and pray this works. Alright, maybe a little bit more. Okay, that looks creepy. In a good way. Let me make sure I can do this even on this side. Now that, I don't know if you can see that. That looks awesome. That looks awesome. All right, hold up. All right, the paper's like soaking up the paint, so sorry. I gotta paint it again. Hold up. Looks pretty sweet. Looks pretty sweet. All right. Sorry, guys. I accidentally licked paint. It's disgusting. All right. All right. You said I want an action scene of Nightwing, Red Hood, and Red Robin fight. Really? Really? I'm gonna pretend you didn't ask me that. All right. So what do we think so far? Decent? I feel like I need to add some red in here. Oh, I know. I would do one more thing and then we'll call it quits on Rosa Eden. So a lot of comics will have like a really hard outline. Like a really thick outline. This might not work, but we'll see. kind of separate it. I feel like I need a line right there. There we go. I know, I did say I wanted ideas. But like, not something that's going to take like 148 hours to draw. Alright, so cool. So see, like, that changes the dynamic of that whole side, right? Just that dark outline. Alright, so let me come up in here. Alright. Oops, I messed up her eyes. Shoot. Paint's still wet, so I'm going to have to flip it over so I don't mess up her eyes again. Yeah, I do have 5 weeks to fill. I might. All right, Cross. I'll tell you what. I might get started on the drawing, on that drawing, and then bring it in like already partly done. We'll see. That is a beast of a concept, though. All right. Other than the massacred. All right, where did the top go? That's fantastic. I can't find the top to my Sharpie. Oh, there it is. Other than the massacred eye where the paint came across it. There it is. There's Rosa Eden. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can... No, I think I'm done. Actually, no, I'm not. I got to do the little rivets. Sweet. There it is. All right. What's next? Since Cross is in here. We'll do this. Let me see. How about a Red Hood face? For those of you who do not know, Red Hood is Cross's favorite. And for those of you who do not know, I don't know anything about Red Hood. So let's see. I need a reference photo. Is that bad, Cross? I need a reference photo. All right. So this is going to be a little bit larger, obviously, but it'll be easier to see. I'm trying to see which one I like. So I like the one, Cross. I like the mask with the lines in it, almost like it looks like an Iron Man mask almost. So we're gonna start off, come out a little bit. Now, because obviously he's a dude, the facial structure is gonna be a bit different. Like, it's gonna be a squared off jaw, obviously, as opposed to the pointier jaw of Rosa Eden. Also, neck is gonna be thicker. Come down with that leather jacket collar that he wears all the time. All right, I want to try to make it super angular, because he's got like cheekbones, like even though the mask, he's obviously got a mask on, his cheekbones are, I want to make his eyes a little lower than he normally would. Actually, I'm going to make his head just a tad bit taller to be a little bit more proportionate. Yeah, I know it's bad. I'm sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. I definitely should know by heart. All right, let me see. I love the shape of his eyes. So one thing, again, with proportions, it doesn't have to be exact, but when it comes to proportions, your head is 5 eye widths apart. So like if you're looking at me on camera, like you can see that if you take one of my eyes, you can put it in the middle, and it's about an eye in between both eyes. And then from the eye to the side of the head is about an eye. So just using that as reference when you're drawing helps out a ton. Again, it does not have to be exact, and for comic characters and stuff like that, it's going to be exaggerated. But for Red Hood, he has like some anime style eyes, or I like to say anime style eyes. And he has kind of like, the mask kind of has like 3-dimensional under his eye, like shading. So I'm gonna call that out too. But one of the hardest things for me is getting the eyes symmetrical. It's really hard for me. I feel like I need to bring this chin down just a tad more. All right, so there's he has kind of like this line thing, which I think is dope. That kind of goes up, and then just to give his head the illusion that it's actually a round head, you kind of want it to go up and around almost, if that makes sense. Let me see. He has this kind of like metal neck thing going on. Actually, let me so his collarbone, just an indication of his collarbone, and then his neck. So I'm not going to draw every single aspect of it, but Cross, you owe me for this one. I've never drawn Red Hood in my life, but I love you, man. That's why I'm doing it. Alright, so again, one of the hardest things for me is getting eyes symmetrical, so let's see if we can do this. It's a little too big up top. And then this line comes up, goes across. I want to make that almost like the Iron Man thing. Actually, that looks like right where his mouth is. So let me, that legitimately looks like Iron Man. So let me bring it down just a bit. Now what we can do is, sorry, I spaced out for a second. What we can do is make a kind of like a, you know how they do in Spider-Man comics where they have like just almost like an indication of a mouth under the mask, just like a line or something, so you know exactly where his mask is, or his mouth is rather. We can definitely do that too. Maybe a couple scratches on the helmet. Scratch across his nose. I feel like I need to angle his eyes down more, make him look evil. Ooh, I like that one a lot better. One thing you can do is you can line it up, and if it doesn't line up, then you can redraw it. So you can see right here, it's not lined up. So if I line it up straight across, this eye is higher. So again, this is something that I struggle with. So what we can do is we can just draw a straight line across, and that's the bottom line. Sorry, that was corny. Sorry, no, so now that eye is a little too far over. Sorry guys, I'll get it in a sec. Actually, let me just pause from that. All right. Sorry, I'm really focused on getting this eye right. I'm not feeling it, man. All right, I'll come back to that. Dude, our eyes are so hard. They're for real. They're incredibly difficult to draw. I need to change the placement of his eyes. They need to be higher up. There we go. Much better. Alright, cool. Much better. I feel much better about that. Alright, now, again, for the head, for the lines in the head like that, you want to make them believable. So, like, you want to make the head believable that it's it's in a three-dimensional space. It's a three-dimensional object in a three-dimensional space. So, you do that by how you can foreshorten lines. And where you're cutting in lines, like for instance, like as I'm going around this head, I'm rounding the line, so you can see that it looks like it's a three-dimensional head, basically. Let's see. All right, let's start drawing some stuff. Again, I want to indicate the jaw a little bit. I'm gonna flip this around. So we come down with the line. Come down with the line. And then for the eyes, actually let's draw the jacket. And for fabric, like I tend to go looser just because fabric's obviously a lot more forgivable. I want this to be a bit angular. All right, now here come the eyes. This is what I was talking about. It's like almost like there's a 3D thing around his eyes. Sorry, I'm moving the paper all around. Alright, so come around here with the jacket. Alright, and then we'll just add some scratches across to make it look sweet. Then we're just gonna do, let me think. Actually, let me draw some of his throat. Because there's like a lot of lines down here. Again, it's like a metal. It's got like a metal, almost like a Winter Soldier arm around his neck. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just have to get an indication that it's around, going around his neck. Am I doing all right, Cross? All right, so what we want to do is, I'm going to do color pencil again, because I feel like that's just going to work better. Let me see. Actually, so for this, I want to come in here just to give it like indication of depth of field. There we go. All right, I gotta sharpen this pencil because this is. Put this in trash. All right. All right, so I'm just gonna color a base of red, basically all around. Obviously, Red Hood, you know. And then I'll come in with some shadows and some highlights and Alright, so one thing that I will say, so we got to figure out where the light is coming from. So we got to figure out the light source, which direction it's hitting. And that's super important, again, when making your drawing look three-dimensional. So we've been talking a lot today about making your drawing look three-dimensional. And I think there's a couple things with that. For one, you know, the way that you do lines, like keeping in mind that you're drawing a three-dimensional object. And how the lines would really look if you were doing that, basically. Second is a light source. So this is an indentation in his mask. So basically, if the light was coming this way, then you would have a highlight on this side, basically running along the side, and you would have a shadow on this side. So let's do it that way, okay? So basically, we're going to do a shadow on this side of the line. And again, shadow on this side of the line. Now, one thing for the eyes are set deep. So they're always going to have a shadow underneath them. And you can just continue that shadow down here. And then you're going to have a shadow on this side as well, because the light is coming from this way. So almost this entire side of the face will be in shadow. Minus the small highlight on the mask. And now, like, because this is a round mask, you're gonna have a bit of shadow, like, and a bit of shading as it rounds out. So this will be darker, obviously. And then it'll come across like that. Same thing up here. This is his forehead, so it's obviously round. And then one thing you can do to make the eyes look a little bit more menacing is you can just make them super heavy on the top. And it just gives them like just a really heavy, foreboding look. And I can come in here with this red Sharpie and kind of like just accentuate the deep, deep, deep shadows. And you get the deep shadows in the mask. You guys are mighty quiet on chat. Alright. So what we can do is just like we did with Rosa Eden, we can come in here and just throw a really thick outline around it. But you can also just do a little darker interpretation of the mask line. All right, I might just pull some of the, actually, let's do this. Do another indication of the mask line. But we'll come in with the black and make it, because obviously the deeper the shadow, the darker it's going to be. And there's no other color darker than black, obviously. So we'll come in here with the marker and just I just missed that notification, but I think it was Macarios J. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining Comic Clan. Sorry, I have so much crap around my arms right now. If you guys could see my desk, it's just so much crap. All right, and again, with the eyes, there's just so much stuff that you can do with the eyes to give them more expression. the more heavily lidded an eye is, like for instance, I could come in here and just throws just some more heavy black on there, and it gives, again, it just gives it a more ominous feeling. You can make it more angled. I mean, you can just do a lot of stuff with the eyes. That's why they feel like they're easy to draw, but they make the biggest difference with your drawing. So they might be like slightly easier to draw, I guess, but if you don't get them right, it's immediate. Like, it's immediately evident that they're not right. Something's wrong. Macarios J. Oh, okay, cool. I hope I didn't butcher your name, man. So it's good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. And for those of you who have joined in the chat, Scottish Dad Reads is Cross. He just popped in to say what's up. His favorite character is Red Hood. So I'm throwing him some love because he's my brother from another mother. So there we go. All right, so we're gonna pop in here with a little bit deeper of a red. Just give it a little bit more shape, I guess, structure, shape. And then you can come down here to the bridge of the nose a little bit. I don't know Red Hood that well, but I don't want to mess up the shape of his mask, you know. So, and then obviously down here, because it's the bottom, so if the light's hitting from right here, your chin's going to be in shadow, so that's important. Give a little shadow on the. All right, let me see. I want to try to color some of his. Actually, I'm going to continue with this. All right, so let's see. Let's flesh out some of this a little bit. So his neck, he almost has like a Winter Soldier, like metal arm vibe. On his neck. So that's a really good opportunity to play with the form of his neck. Obviously your neck is a cylinder, basically, so you want to kind of accentuate that. And if you look at a cylinder, like for instance, if you look at this, the top is almost flat, so when you're looking at it, you can just see a little bit tilt, but when you get to the bottom, I don't know if you can see this, when you get to the bottom, it's much more of a rounded shape. So that's called perspective. Like the cylinder, as it gets closer to your eye level, you're not going to see the bottom and the top of the cylinder. It's just going to almost look like a flat line. But as you go further and further down, you're looking down, and you're going to have that rounded off shape. So I tried to do that with the neck a little bit. Like you can see, it's almost straight across here, and down here it kind of dips down a bit. So again, it's little things like that that will help give definition to what you need and stuff like that. So I messed up his collar, but it's all good. I'll give indication that because he wears a leather jacket. I don't know how dark this brown is. That was a bad choice. Anyways. All right. Actually, it's not that bad. Right. Cool thing with Sharpies is you can go super dark. So. All right, and then we can come in here. Same thing with the ridge of this jacket. Like, you can do rounded lines if you want to give it give the threading on the outside of the jacket like a almost like a rounded thing. Whatever. I think you know what I mean. Or, again, if you're not trying to get too detailed with it, you don't have to do all that stuff. You can just give like the indication of it like that. So, and then if I wanted to, I could come in here with like a brown, so it's not just like white and brown. I could come in here with a brown and kind of dull it down just a tad. So, and we'll do the same thing over on this side. Good thing I found these Sharpies. I used to have a tons of different colors, but I don't know what happened to them. Now, again, we're not trying to get it perfect right now. We're just trying to get the indication of form and shadow and stuff like that. My printer just turned on by itself. That's funny. All right, cool. So coming here again with the brown just to kind of dull the white down a little bit. And what you could do to give it a little more depth is you could come in here with some black and like really punch up the darks. I've always wanted to say that, punch up the darks. Just punch them up so it gives, again, you're trying to give the illusion in a two-dimensional space of depth. You could do that with values, you can do that with line quality, everything. I feel like he just needs a lot more color, a lot more red. What happened to my? Oh, hold on. All right. Now let me use this. I'm going to use the sharp. Actually, I have a big red Sharpie. There we go. Let's try this. Nah, not feeling that. I'll use a pencil. Now, for those of you who are new to our channel, we normally do, well, I don't know if we normally do anything cross, but I guess standardly, we just chat comic news and comics. We recently started a stream last week. We call it the Indie Comic Club, a little more fancier of a stream for us, where we review indie comics, and we did the first volume of Lock and Key, which I really enjoyed. I actually just started watching the series on Netflix too. I haven't gotten that far into it though. But we do comic book news, we review comics, we do all sorts of stuff. So we're trying to branch out and try different things. So we're glad you're here. Oh, I really want to try something cool. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let's say that Jason Todd just shot somebody. All right. I know that's super drastic. Actually, let's come back to that. I'll save you for later. I just feel like he needs more red on him. I feel like he's not red enough. Red Hood, you're not red enough. I feel like he's too pink. So let's make him a little darker. We call him the Pink Hood. Your new name is the Pink Hood, Jason Todd. Alright, now we can come in here and punch up the reds a little bit more. Again, below the eyes is going to be a little bit darker than... You don't want to make this area, because this is where the light's hitting, so you don't want to make it too... dull down that highlight a little bit. Yeah, I plugged them right at the beginning, cross. But yeah, for those of you who weren't here at the beginning, Gamer Grind Co., official sponsor of Comics in the Cross. It's coffee for gamers. Let me actually get the link. If you go to gamergrind.co and you enter Comics in the Cross at checkout, it'll save you 5% on your order. Also, grab a sticker, Comics in the Cross sticker, and a Comics in the Cross mug while you're at it, and help us out. And again, just to reiterate from the beginning, we are on the road to 15 subs, and I got to give a shout out again to Chunk the Hut. Let me see if this works. Nope. Anyways, I think that's his name, right? Anyways, Chunk the Hut is one of our supporters here. He's an awesome guy. As Cross would say, an absolute legend. He is gifted almost 10 subs over the past month. So a lot of these are due to him, and just huge shout out and thank you to that. But we are on the road to 15 subs. We're trying to unlock that Stan Lee emote. Right now we do have our hype emote and our POW emotes for our subscribers. But if you could help us out, we also have a Patreon if you feel like donating that way or helping us out that way. The bottom line is we're still going to be here regardless. We love doing this stuff, but any support goes a long way, and we really appreciate it. All right, let's see. What do you think, Cross? Trying to make it look rugged. There we go. And then another cool thing that you can do when you're drawing two-dimensional. Actually, let me do this real quick. Sorry, guys. Let us do the thicker outline. Even though we kind of already have one, I'm going to make it just a teeny bit thicker. And I'm actually going to take this in just a tad. So you indicate a cheekbone in the mask. All right. Sweet. Actually, I'm going to color in his neck. I was thinking about doing it. I wasn't 100% sure, but I'm going to do it. So it's like a silver-ish. Thanks, dude. Yeah, man. It's yours. It's yours. 12 easy payments, so $48.95, and it is all yours. All right, let's see. All right, so, since the light is coming from this side, it's coming from the top down. So it's going to cast a shadow in the same direction, right? So if it's coming from this way, then you're going to have a shadow basically right there. So we're going to put all this in shadow. And deep shadow right under his chin. And the way shadows are, they're not just a block of darkness. They fade, they go lighter and lighter and lighter. So right next to his chin, we can make it super, super dark. But we don't have to go nuts. And then what we can do is we can try to make this neck, again, look 3D. So you do have the indication of these muscles right here. So you have your neck muscles or tendons, they come around and attach to your collarbone. I forgot what they're called, honestly. But you can just do an indication of them. You don't have to make it perfect. And just a small indication of just some depth to these rings on his neck. They're not rings, but I don't know what else to call them. And then what we can do is we can come back in. Man, it is already 3:40. We can come back in and I'm trying to do this without messing it up. Let me turn this. Basically, you come in and you put some darkness beside some of the highlights, and it'll really punch the highlights out. And you'll see what I mean once I'm done. Alright, so then just to finish it off, just come back in here, indicate some of the shadow again. Again, these color pencils, I don't know if you can see this again, these are called Prismacolors. Best color pencils I've ever had in my life. If you're serious about, if you like using color pencils and you're serious about art, excuse me, I would definitely recommend getting them. Get an indication of that mean muscle. I forgot how. It's the thing between the eyes where you scrunch your face and. This is what I was gonna do. Let me see if it'll work. Alright, so I'm gonna just pour a little bit of this red. I hope this works. If this doesn't, I'm screwing it up. I want it to look like blood splatter. It does look like blood splatter, but it's on my hands. Oh, might as well do it all over since. There we go. Boom, shakalaka. There it is. I feel like I need to wipe my hands now. See if we can find a tissue. Of course. Oh, here we go. Alright, so there we go. Here's Red Hood. Face only, obviously. And it goes to the highest bidder. I'm just joking. This is crosses all day. Because this is his jam. Alright, I'm wondering if I should do one more. It is 3:42. Do you guys want me to do one more? Do you have any suggestions you want me to do? I'm down to do one more if you guys want me to. Put this over here. Alright, if not, I might call it, because that Red Hood took me about an hour. Unless you guys have any suggestions. Let me see. Spider-Man. Alright, I love Spider-Man. I've drawn Spider-Man probably hundreds of times. So, I will try to draw a quick Spider-Man. Psycho Geek Girl, thank you. Frank Castle. Alright, so the next art stream, Macarios J, the next art stream, I will do Frank Castle. I promise. But let me just draw a quick Spider-Man real quick. So when I was 12, I feel like I'm at a therapist. When I was 12, my mom allowed me to paint Spider-Man on my wall. So I'm going to redraw that Spider-Man that I drew on my wall. See if I can remember what he looked like. Alright, so with Spider-Man, you gotta be really loose. You gotta be really, really loose with Spider-Man. Sorry, I got paint on my monitor. I got paint all over my monitor. That's fantastic. That's what I get for trying to splatter it. It's probably not the most sanitary thing, but it is what it is. Alright, sorry for that pit stop. Alright, so for Spider-Man, you gotta be like super loose because he's like ridiculously flexible. You got the foot. And like he can just contort his body in so many different ways. I'll make his shoulder the prominent thing. Now this is going to be Mark Bagley, Spider-Man. Oh, he's your favorite? Yeah. He is an agile youngling. He definitely is. And he's surprisingly strong. Like, a lot of people sleep on Spider-Man's strength, but dude is strong, man. Alright, so come down here. Now for Spider-Man, I know on the animated series he was just ridiculously jacked, like bodybuilder jacked. But he's a kid, so let's be honest. Probably not going to be that jacked. So, actually, we'll have him maybe doing the web. All right, I know this looks super messy, but there is a method to my madness. Alright, his arm is gigantic. Do I ever use a drawing title? Yes, I do. So, I do have this. I use this when I'm doing digital art occasionally. For me, I like to draw my stuff traditional first, and then scan it in, and then color it. I am not that great in digital art, just to be honest. I do a lot of graphic design and stuff like that, but when it comes to like actual drawing and stuff, I prefer to do it traditionally. Just a preference. I'm gonna give him the shoot. Alright, so this is his chest. So we'll bring his leg down here. How about that? There we go. I'm much more excited about that. Actually, let me bring his knee in a little bit. I appreciate it. Thank you. I like the Spectacular Spider-Man version because this one I grew up with. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the Spectacular Spider-Man one. I grew up with Mark Bagley Spider-Man, like from the mid-90s. You know, with like Lethal Protector, all the Venom. You know, when he dropped the Venom and all that stuff. So that's what I grew up with. Amazing Spider-Man, basically. I appreciate it. Cute girl. I really appreciate the compliment. I do make my own characters. It's funny you say that. I've got a whole sketchbook of characters that I did when I was little that I'm trying to redo because they are just horrendous. So yeah, I might let you guys look at that at some point. I need to build up my self-esteem first. All right, let me see. I tend to make legs super long, so just keep me honest. I've always like struggled with his feet. All right, don't want to make his arm too buff, but I want to square his shoulders off to give him a little bit of a. You have a little knob on your knee right there, because I mean he's a kid, right? He's got like. Wow, that leg is entirely too long. He's a kid. He's got like almost skinny limbs, almost, but he's also jacked. So, what do you do? I struggle with feet too. I'm gonna be straight up. So they are not perfect. Prefer traditional, but need to get back to desk camera overhead style in addition to my webcam, similar to your setup. It would seem it's not possible though. Yeah. So this camera that I got up here. I got it from Amazon for like $30 because we were gonna do an art stream and I didn't have it. I only had this camera and I didn't want to do digital art, so let me see. All right, again, so. You want to go like you're looking into, it's almost like he's looking up, so you're looking into his whole like shoulder back area. So this, your collarbone, which would normally go straight across, is going to be kind of dipping down. Again, you want to make sure you're giving it that feeling of depth and stuff. I really like his arm right there, but I'm not feeling his eyes. He's like 16 at the start, so yeah. I'm definitely trying to make him not look like a bodybuilder, but look like he's agile and nimble, you know? So one thing that helps me when I'm trying to draw limbs is creating circles for joints, because it helps me be able to know where I'm coming off of, if that makes sense. Alright, I gotta figure out his head. Let's see. If he's straining his chins up. No, it looks like the dude from that 180s movie in the water. What was that called? The Abyss. Alright, so the one thing that I have trouble with is hands. So we could do, like if I did it like this. So what does that look like? So you have your thumb coming out, coming up, just going into that. You got your two fingers. Wait a minute. Your thumb wouldn't come out over there. Wow. I have my hand backwards. That's great. So you're basically your knuckles coming down, two knuckles going up. And like one thing that I liked on those old school like comics is like they always hardcore exaggerated his fingers. Like his fingers are like so I'll try to do that. Actually, let's have this coming from this way. I'm not sold on its head. Sometimes if I start drawing in ink, it makes me make a decision. So let's do that. Let me get together a Sharpie. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been drawing for a long time. I still like I I haven't personally drawn in a long time, but I've been drawing for a long time. But I don't know if you caught, we had Dr. Bell on here, who's one of the creators of Dominion comic. And that hand looks awful. Sorry. This is a quick drawing, so it is what it is. So he basically stresses the need to practice, and by practice I mean anatomy. And what I was saying earlier is just getting your hands on a really good like anatomy book. This is a really good one. This is a more academic anatomy book, but it gives you the muscles. Like this is the one that I was talking about earlier. This is one of the muscles. This is called the scalenus posterior. But it's good to know these types of muscles and where they sit. That way you're able to draw them more realistically. Like for instance, this is what I was talking about earlier. Like you have the smaller forearm muscles that wrap around in front of the bicep, and then you have this huge set of muscles on the outside of the arm that wrap around. So just understanding the anatomy will help you tremendously. So if you don't have one, I would absolutely recommend getting an anatomy book. I have a couple suggestions of some that I like that have been good for me. But yeah, so I would definitely recommend investing in a good anatomy book. This is gonna be a really loose drawing. I'm so sorry, guys. I just no, you can give. All right, so when you're drawing men, traps, which is the muscle right here, and shoulders, basically will set the tone for your character. So if your character has absolutely enormous traps and their shoulders are just ridiculous, then it's gonna set that tone for that character. I mean, that character is super powerful, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, how can I get this head? Alright, so I would say, I think for Spider-Man, I think one of the hardest things to draw is his head. Because, again, it comes down to the eyes. Like, if you don't get the eyes right, I mean, it's just not going to look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to make him too far. Like, I'm just going to give him a profile shot. And I am a Todd McFarlane Spider-Man fan too, so I tend to go bigger with the eyes. Now, I do like to give Spider-Man a bigger neck, like back here. I don't know. It's just me. That eye is ginormous. That's my bad. But yeah, you have the neck muscles that come down here, and you have this belt that comes basically like that. You have a little spider. Boop, 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 boop. And then you can that's the Todd McFarlane. It's the Todd McFarlane web. That's what I'm gonna call it. But yeah, so that's see, little stuff like cuts like this and the angles of the shoulders like can really give you some depth of the characters, and just the way that you're positioning, you know, the shoulders and the chest muscles and like all the leg muscles and stuff like that. So All right. I think we are right at time, guys. I wanted to kind of end on time today. If you guys like this type of stream and you want to see us keep doing this, let us know in the comments. Let us know on our Twitter and our Instagram. Comics in the Cross. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let's see. Sorry, should have had this up. Let's see. So follow us if you haven't already at Twitter, at Comics in the Cross on Twitter, and then on Instagram. Cross, do you remember? I can't remember our exact. I think it's Comics in the Cross. Let me see. Yep. So it's Comics in the Cross on Instagram as well. So so just follow us on there. Follow us on Twitch. Sub to us if you would like. Again, we're on the road to 15 subs. So any help you can give us as we try to hit that milestone for us, which is a huge milestone, will be great. We really appreciate you dropping by. Let me actually plug this real quick. Yeah, it's not working. Sorry. Yeah, we really appreciate you stopping by. Again, if you want to see us keep doing these types of art streams, just let us know in the comments. Yeah, I can definitely finish it next time. I can draw a better one next time. I promise. When I don't have like 15 minutes. I like to draw Venom too. Venom's a huge favorite of mine. But anyways, I really appreciate everybody stopping by and chatting with me. Cross, I hope you're relaxing, man, or as much as you can relax. And we will, next week, we will be doing a game stream with me as well. I'll be doing a solo game stream. I think I'm not signed into Skeets. Cross, that's why it's not doing it. Spawn is my favorite comic book character ever, so I can absolutely draw Spawn. So seems like we have Punisher, we're finishing the Spider-Man, and we have Spawn. So we have plenty to work on next week. Again, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate the support. This has been awesome. I love to draw, and I'm so glad people stopped in to watch. So I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will holler at you later.